is Wiggins' week 1 video recap. So we're starting out with a little bit of play using a flirt pole. So I'm just kind of getting him to chase it around a little bit. Every so often he'll catch it, and then we'll play a gentle game of tug for a minute or two. When I am playing tug with my puppy, I'm being very gentle, so I am not pulling my dog across the floor. I'm not lifting them up off the ground. I'm just putting some gentle opposition on the toy that we're playing with. Good job, Wiggins. Whoa, get it. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Good man. Good job. Okay, the first thing we're going to get into is charging our clicker. So our clicker is our reward marker. It lets the dog know, yes, you got it right, and it's always going to be followed by food. So for this, I'm not going to actually ask Wiggins to do anything. I'm just going to click the clicker once and give him a piece of food. We'll do that a couple times in a row before we move on to our next exercise. So this is really just making sure that he understands the association between hearing the click and getting a piece of food. Good job, buddy. Good boy. So the first thing we've been working on this week is having the puppies follow a food lure. So for this, I'm using a piece of kibble and I'm holding it in a flat palm with my thumb. And then my palm's going to be facing Wiggins' nose or his snout, so he can just lick at the food and follow it along as I move. So for this, I'm really just needing him to take a few steps before I click and then release that piece of food to him. Good job, buddy. So I'm making sure he stays nice and connected to that piece of food the whole time we're moving. So he's licking it, then I'm going to start taking a step or two. He's moving with me, then I'm going to click and reward. Whoops. Did you get it, bud? I do like to practice this with both hands just to make sure that my dog is comfortable following a food lure no matter what side it's on. And we've also started to pair this with his name and work on some name recognition. Still chewing? Wiggins. Good boy. Wiggins. Good job, buddy. Wiggins. Good boy. The next skill we introduced to the puppies this week is a hand target or a touch cue. So to start to teach this to our puppy, I'm going to hold the food the same way that I just did. We're getting him to follow a food lure, and I'm going to put it right up to his nose. And I'm going to quickly pull it back, maybe, 6 inches to a foot. When he reconnects with my hand is when I'm going to click and then release that piece of food. Touch. Good boy. Touch. Nice work, bud. And then same thing with this skill. I do like to practice it with both of my hands. Touch. Good job, Wiggins. Touch. Good boy. From here, we're going to move right into our lured sits. So for this, we're doing 2 different things. So I like to toss a reset cookie or a get it cookie, especially if the dog is already offering me a sit and I'm going to be working on sits. So for a reset cookie, I'm going to show Wiggins that piece of food, go get it, and I'm going to toss it away from me. And then when he comes back, I'm going to use a piece of food to get him into a sit. Sit. Good job, buddy. I'm going to give him a few follow-up cookies for staying in that sit position. We like to start to work on implied stays from the very start. And then when I'm ready to release him out of that position, go get it. I'll toss one of those reset cookies. Whoops, I don't think you saw it, buddy. Here, right here. I'll show that to you again. Wiggins, sit. What a good puppy. Couple follow-up cookies for maintaining that position. Go get it. What a good boy. Good job, bud. We've been working on getting the puppies dressed this week. So for this, we're using just a regular flat collar. And I like to use food to do this. So a lot of times what happens is we go to reach around our dog's neck to put the collar on, and then they start kind of chewing at the collar and at our hands. So I like to use food for this just to be able to get them dressed cooperatively. So I'm going to show Wiggins that food, and then I'm going to drop several pieces right on the floor. And then as he's eating the food is when I'm going to get that collar on him. Good boy. And then maybe I'll ask him for a sit with that collar on. Sit. Go get it. And then similarly, when I'm going to take that collar off, I'm going to get him on a piece of food first while I find the clip to that collar. It's going to take me a minute because he's black and the collar is black and red. So when I find that clip, I can unclip it and give him that piece of food. Good job, buddy. We'll do that one more time. So I'm going to show him that food first. Drop it on the floor. Get that collar on him. Good boy. We'll do a sit. Sit. Yes, good boy. Look at you holding that sit. Good puppy. Go get it. Whoops. Here, right here. Wiggins. Good job, buddy. The kibble's the same color as his floor, so sometimes it's hard for him to see it. Okay, so again, when I'm taking that collar off, he's licking a piece of food until I find the clip on here. And then I'm unclipping it and giving him that piece of food. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Good boy. The next skill that we started to work on this week is introducing our dogs to the mat. So the mat is a stationing skill where end goal is we tell them to go to their mat. They settle into a down position on the mat and they stay there until we release them. In week 1, we're just working on building up the value of the dog being on the mat. So for this, I'm going to put the mat down. When Wiggins offers 4 paws on it, I'm going to mark and reward. I'm going to reward him several times for staying on there, and then I'm going to toss a reset cookie to get him to move off of it, and I'm going to pick it up and move it between each repetition. Good boy. So feeding him a couple pieces of food for staying on there. Go get it. Tossing a reset cookie, moving the mat. Good job, buddy. Go get it. Good boy. So again, this week, just working on building up the value of him standing on that mat. Right now he's offering me a down, which is fine. It's eventually what we're going to work towards anyways. Go get it. We'll do one more here. Good boy. And you can already see he's making his way back to the mat on his own every time that I move it. Here, here. Good job. Go get it. This week we started to introduce the dogs to body handling. So your dog is going to need a lifetime of vet care and potentially grooming care. So we want to get them used to being handled at a very young age. So this week we are just working on handling different body parts and doing some light restraint with these puppies. So for this, ideally, I do want the dog in a standing position. Are you trying to get a piece of food? Wiggins, go get it. So when I'm working on body handling, I am going to use food for this. And I'm going to use a verbal yes instead of using the clicker for this. Just because a lot of the handling I'm doing is going to be very close to his ear. I don't want to click and have it be way too loud for him and then have him be startled by that. So I'm going to get him licking a piece of food. I'm going to hold it similarly to how I was holding it when we were having him follow a food lure at the beginning of this video. As he's licking that piece of food, the first thing I'm going to work on is a restraint hold. So a restraint hold is where we bring our hand underneath his belly. Yes. And then we can mark and reward him by releasing that piece of food. So you'll see a restraint hold done a lot of times at the vet when they're examining the dog or giving vaccinations. So we do like to get them used to being touched under their belly for that specific skill. So again, waiting until he's licking that food. Yes, good boy. We'll do one more. You still chewing? Yes, good boy. Okay, we're going to move on to handling Wiggins' tail. So we're going to get him on that piece of food first. And then I do like to start in a nice neutral spot on the dog's body instead of reaching right for their tail or their paws. So what I'll do is I'll slide my hand down his spine and then gently lift up his tail. Yes, not really putting any pressure on that or doing much in the way of duration, just getting him used to me gently lifting his tail. That's going to prepare him for when he needs to get his temperature taken at the vet. Wiggins. Good boy. So I'm going to do something very similar when I'm handling paws. I'm going to start by kind of sliding my hand down his spine and then down one of his legs and gently picking up a paw. Yes. Good boy. Show this to you again with the front paw. Yes, good boy. Nice work, buddy. Anytime I'm working with the puppy's face, I don't mind if they're in a sit position. It'll actually let me get a better view of what I'm doing here. So for handling ears, eyes, and mouth, I'm still going to be using food. I'm getting Wiggins on that piece of food first, and then for the ear, I'm just lifting up the ear, putting a little bit of gentle pressure on it, massaging it lightly, and then marking with that yes, and giving him a piece of food. Good boy. For eyes, I'm just going to gently lift up his eyelid and take a look. Yes. Good boy. And then for the mouth, I'm just going to gently lift up his lips so I can get a look at his gums. Yes. Good boy. And that's all we've been working on as far as body handling this week. Again, we want these puppies to be comfortable being handled on different body parts, not shy away from us when we're handling their ears and their tail and all that stuff. Good boy. Make sure that you're looking at your video library as well as your handouts for more information on the skills that we are working on with the puppies this week.